What's up everyone, Patrick Wolf here. Welcome to another Division 2 video. Today's video is going to be all about modifications. If you're a new player, if you're a veteran player, I hope to give you some tips, some advice, and maybe I can help you in the game because there are a lot of things with regards to modifications I see people doing incorrectly. I've received so many emails from my fans asking me, is this build good? Why am I struggling with legendary content? And investigating further, I realized that they haven't got some of the most important modifications for their weapons. For example, adding another 20 bullets into your magazine for your assault rifle. People need to unlock these modifications. How to actually get your underbarrel attachment permanently unlocked without selecting it. A few tips and tricks that we're going to go over today. Like I said, hopefully even if you guys know it, you'll just stick around and support me. I really want to help the community as much as I can with regards to these. So let's get into the first thing, and that's going to be improvised gear. Now, it is possible to mod 6 pieces of gear in the game right now. It's nothing new, but because we have the option to put red, blues and yellows in whatever mod slot we want, that is a new addition to the game. They've just recently changed that. It gives us more scope to change it up and to make different combinations. So I wanted to talk about this. So if you guys come over here, you can actually go to your crafting bench. We're going to be here for a while because I'm going to discuss a few things. So normally you can only mod your backpack, your mask and your chest piece if you want crit chance, crit damage, and snare resistance, whatever it may be. But now you can actually get improvised holster, gloves and knee pads in which you can put a modification on it. So if we go over here, you'll have a blueprint that you can get from doing control points. Just check if it's not there, and Inaya to my right, if she's not selling it, just go do control points. I'll give you a tip right now after we've looked at this on the best way to farm control points, an easier way for players who aren't very confident in themselves or they just need some help. Improvised gear right here, it comes with an appearance slot, die slot and a gear mod slot, which is very important. That goes in hand with the gloves and the knee pads. So once you craft that, it is a bit difficult to actually get a good one because the crafting in this game is not very efficient and not very good. But if you have a look here, I got a decent one, has a protection, armor, crit chance. Now you can put whatever mod slot you want. I have put protection from elites because I wanted to discuss something with you guys. Okay, we're not going to talk too much about it, but you have an option to now mod 6 of your pieces. Like I said before, normally it's just chest, mask and backpack. This is my DPS build, and this is what it would look like if I went for all protection from elites mods, because a lot of emails I've received, people have been using 80% protection from elites. In my opinion, I'm going to give my honest opinion, guys, I would never ever do that because there are builds in this game where you can actually rush in legendary with an SMG. You don't really need that. I would say if you are fighting the hunters on level 100 or anywhere in the open world, hunters, you put 80% or whatever it may be the cap is. I think it's around 80% protection from elites. If you put 12% on each piece and through your watch and other things, you can acquire about 80%. I would say if you're fighting hunters, that's going to be very good. But just take note of this. 75% of the NPCs in this game are not elites. Most of the harder hitting NPCs are reds and purples, so I don't really see a point in that. If you want to look cool and tank lots of damage from the golds and then get one tapped by a red, that's up to you. I don't really think that's very strong because, like I said, in a build like this, I normally have 170% crit damage. I only have 115 because I put all into protection from elites over there. So there are various ways that you can actually utilize this, but improvised gear, in my opinion, is best used one piece or maybe 2 pieces if you want extra in snare resistance or hazard protection. For example, if you want to make a full hazard protection build, you could go for 2-piece Cheska, 1-piece Yol gear. That gives you 20% hazard. Then with your watch, you're going to be getting another 10%, and then you could put, let's say for example you want to mitigate the bleed from the backfire SMG. You can actually not have to run 511. You could just roll those 3 pieces and then put modifications, bleed resistance on all 3 there, and maybe 1 or 2 extra. Then you can get bleed resistance. Because if we have a look at the modifications, there are not that many combinations we can make. There's burn resistances and everything that comes with mitigating status effect. But armor on kill is something that could be very good, but the values are not very high. Percentage based values are better because if you have a high armor build, if you've got 1.5 million armor for example, the percentage based are going to be way more efficient. So this is good if you have very low armor, but it's not very good. With regards to incoming repairs, that's going to be something we're actually going to discuss just now, because incoming repairs and repair skills, for some reason they don't scale the same, even though you're healing yourself. So we're going to go through that in a minute. That's also been a very strange topic So if you have a look here, we don't really have that many options. That's why protection from elites is probably the best option if you want to go for all tanky. If you want to go for crit, as you can see guys, you can get 12% crit damage mods. That would be really good, but you're better off running one Grupo and then going for 2 Sokolov, for example, which will be 30%. You only get a couple percentage more, but remember that you're missing the brand sets as well. So we have no brand sets on Improvised Gear, so you need to try and gauge what you want out of your build. So I'm not going to tell you don't use these gear pieces, because some of my build videos in the past I have actually put these in there. I do apologize, I'm going to be talking a lot, so I'm going to try my best to slow it down and just to try and make it as simple as possible, but this can be quite complicated. So if you have a look here, skill haste is a very good way of utilizing these. If you can get them all rolled with yellows, you can have a lot of skill haste. But then again, hardwired allows you to have instant cooldowns, so you need to try and test things and gauge what you want. Repair skills as well. If you're making a healer build, you don't really need that because you'll have way more than enough. There's a backpack talent that gives you 100% extra healing for your teammates. So let's say, for example, you wanted to put 80% protection from elites on your build. You're going to only be tanky towards the golden NPCs, and you're going to do no damage. You're going to be struggling a bit. I don't recommend doing that, guys. Like I said, so many people have shown me their build and they do this. I don't recommend it at all. You don't need to do this. If you guys want to see a build where you can solo legendaries with an SMG without an issue, link will be in the description. Just go look. It's my lone wolf build, for example, or the solo legendary one. You can go check those out. Now it is very good, like I said, if you are in a certain situation where they are just golden NPCs or they are just hunters, then it can be very strong, but you're just going to be running around tanking bullets and not really doing much for your team or for yourself. So that's just something I wanted to showcase, to also give you ideas. If you weren't aware of Improvised Gear, you can go in there and you could say, oh, this actually gives me some ideas. Maybe if I can put bleed resistance on all 3 pieces, use my backfire SMG, then I don't have to spec into too many hazard protection pieces, then I can go for more damage. So it is quite complicated. It's completely up to you. You can utilize these. I'm not saying don't do it, but I wouldn't recommend doing the full protection from elites build. If you wanted to do something like this, I would say maybe getting about 35% or 36% for 3 12% mods, for example, and then you could be tankier against them because they are more tanky, the golden NPCs, so it'll give you more time to deal with them. But to be honest, guys, something like this, it's very rare that you would see me running a build like this. For example, like I was running a mission and we are doing a legendary one, and one player had this. He had full on protection from elites. I was so impressed. This was I think it was about over 2 months ago. No, it wasn't 2 months ago. It was about 3 or 4 weeks ago, and he was doing this, and I was watching him and I was like, this guy is just running through these NPCs like nothing was happening, and it was all the golden ones in legendary NPC, and he was just tanking all the damage. I couldn't believe it. I've never seen anything like that in my life. I was quite impressed. So I tried this, and it works until a purple NPC comes and one taps you. It's very, very situational. It's very strong if you use it in the correct circumstances, in the correct missions. Like for example, like I said, fighting hunters, you will have no issue. But then again, here comes a bit of a trick for you guys with regards to that. If you want to be tanky, one of the most efficient ways to be tanky in this game is to use a shield, not even a big shield. You can use the deflector shield, which is really, really good. You can deflect the bullets back at the NPCs. You can use this shield right here, okay? You put this shield on, and then you put this absolutely beautiful skill right here, the Artificer Hive, which basically regens your shield. Every couple of seconds, your shield gets almost full armor again. It's really, really good, very strong, and you can tank a whole room of legendary NPCs with only tier 3 shield with this. So I would recommend doing a combination of this. If you want to be tanky from NPCs, this is going to be your best friend. So next up, we're going to discuss the specialization mods that you can acquire. So if you look at the specializations, by the way, if you guys don't have all of this maxed out, I really do recommend you do it. Go to the firewall, for example. This is probably one of the most popular in PvP as well, because you get a very nice armor kit. If you guys aren't aware, you get 200% armor and 200% health over 10 seconds. So even if you take damage 5 seconds after you've procced your armor kit, you're still getting a lot, especially if you combine this with perfect efficient. So if we have a look here, okay, so we've got very nice attachments that we can acquire from this. If you have a look at the shotgun, a 15% increased shotgun damage, you guys know this is the passive talent. Then you have a look here. So we've got a short grip, lightweight short grip for underbarrel longer rails. I think a lot of people have missed this. You think, oh, it's a rail for a shotgun. It's not. It works on longer rails, any weapon. All these modifications you get from Specializations work on any weapon, and it's a very good one. So let's have a look at it right now. So let's quickly actually swap to firewall, because it would need to be active for you to put this on your gear or your weapons, for example. So let's have a look. As you can see, my underbarrel's gone. So if we look here, wait, just to quickly to clarify, what's it called? So it is called a tactical short grip. So if we go again, modify this assault rifle. This has got a long underbarrel rail. Okay, so this is a tactical short grip. So this gives us 10% critical hit damage, which is extremely good. And there's something I want to speak about here as well, because I see this mistake being made even by myself. I've only recently been putting this correct because I was a bit lazy as well. If you're lazy, you'd probably make the same mistake. I'm sure veteran players can agree with me there. So if we look around, there is no better mod for crit damage. We've got reload speed, crit chance, which is obviously decent. We've got, this is the short grip, 5%. So that's an extra 5%, that's 10% crit damage. So what I normally recommend to people is to put this mod on. If you're using firewall, put this mod on first, and then go around and make sure you have enough crit chance. And that's something to take note of as well. 55% crit chance. People say that's okay. Let me tell you guys something right now. That 5% crit chance is there's a balloon effect in this game with that. If you put 5% extra crit chance, it's not 5% extra crit chance. That's not how it scales. It is quite important to get your crit chance as high as possible. Now, obviously, dependent on what kind of build you want, you know, it really does. It is a very situational thing, but I do recommend with builds, if you're making a crit damage build, you need 60% crit chance, even 58. Put that extra mod because it's worth it. You obviously don't want to go too far over the cap, obviously, because then it is a real waste. Okay, so let's have a look at what I mean. So let's say, for example, we put this tactical short grip. Now we could have put a crit chance mod. So you can go ahead and go into your modifications of your gear and put an extra crit chance mod because we're getting a nice amount from the underbarrel. So I see a lot of people running crit chance on the underbarrel while using firewall and actually not utilizing it, and then putting, for example, this mod over here, the Russian red dot sight. I see this all the time, and I'm guilty for this as well. You're wasting 5% crit damage. So you're putting 5% crit damage here and 5% crit chance there, where you could just use this one. And I'm going to show you how to get these mods as quick as possible. For example, you get 5% crit chance here. There's another one here, 5% crit chance, I think, if I'm not mistaken, which looks a bit better than that one. Yeah, this one, rugged mini reflex sight. So you put this 5% and then 5% crit damage or crit chance in the other one, or 5% crit damage here, and then 5% crit chance there, where you should be getting 10% crit damage and 5% crit chance here, rather than the other way around, if you know what I mean. So it's very important to make sure you guys utilize this underbarrel. So just a quick little note, the easiest way to get these mods, because you need to go and farm these modifications. We'll go back and talk about the other ones because there are more to talk about. If you come to the crafting bench and you go to modifications, I think I've unlocked all of them. You'll be able to tell. If you go in here, oh, there's one. See, I still don't have all of them. So you need to go and do this. So what does it say? It doesn't tell you. It's a side mission reward. So some of them are mission rewards, project rewards, but the majority of these, including one of the best mags in the game, which are going to be these, for an SMG, plus 20 rounds, which is very, very good. And we also have a light extended mag, 10 rounds, which is not as good as some of the other ones. We can get a lot of rounds in our weapon. For example, here again, plus 20 rounds. These are the modifications that I'm telling people they must not miss out. This is one of the best magazines in the game, right over here, these two, because we get 20 rounds in our assault rifles, 5.56, dependent on the caliber of the weapons, of the rounds in the gun. So how do you get these as fast as possible? You need to farm control points. Majority of these you have, it's basically RNG. A lot of them, go look at your projects and it'll actually tell you how to unlock some of them, or side missions like we previously spoke about. But you need to do control points. So go to level 4 control point and do Riverside Gas Station. If you go to Riverside Gas Station, you will see that there is a rooftop, and you just sit on the rooftop and you put out your tier 6 turret and drone, and they will just wreck all the NPCs for you. If you struggle with PvE in this game, you also get experience, and you just keep doing that, and then eventually you will unlock those modifications, because it is very important, and I see people not using them, and that is a lot of extra bullets, guys. An extra 10 bullets is a big deal. Now, if you don't have it, you could probably use the Eagle Bearer. If you don't have that, it's a bit unfortunate. Maybe go for a different weapon. So if we have a look at gunner, this is another one I want to speak about. Then you have this large pouch, which gives us, I think it's about 35 bullets for our LMGs. That only works for LMGs. Then technician, we have this. Now this is something quite interesting. This is one of my favorite mods in the game. If you guys aren't aware of this, we got the technician laser pointer, linked laser pointer. This pulses NPCs when you aim at them. This works in PvP as well. What happens is you put it on any weapon. It's not just for rifles. You see it, a lot of people get confused. This is a rifle increase and to the left. This was bugged and I actually ruined it for myself. So you don't actually have to have rifle damage on. If you guys don't have these bars selected, for example, it looks like this, and this is selected, don't touch it. Don't touch it because it's bugged and it's stayed on. I can't get mine to stay on now. So what I used to do in the past is I would select that. Okay, you would go onto your weapon over here, because this barrel, it works with this barrel. Have a look, there we go, linked laser pointer. I would swap to technician specialization, and then I would put that barrel on. So let's have a look and see if it works. This used to be a bug. Now it's not really abusing the game, but it was quite, I found it to be quite funny. So now that we've got technician activated, we go to my weapon over here and we put it here. Okay, there, it's on. So if we change, what used to happen is I would used to change, then I would go back to technician, and then I would go and I would remove rifle and it would stay on, and you would still have that barrel when you swap to technician specialization. It's one of those things, and it used to work, but it does. I don't think it works anymore. Let me know in the comments if you guys have found a way to do it. But just remember that putting an attachment like that can be very beneficial to your build for many reasons, and we're going to discuss that now in a second. So like I said before, let's try it again one more time, because I really want to see if I can get this to work, because it's very interesting and it really does help your build. So we've put it on now. So if we go to technician, you would think that if you keep it on your weapon, and you change maybe to put more damage or something else, you take it off and it would stay on, but it doesn't. So it's just unfortunate. As you can see, it's been removed. So if we look at some of the talents in the game, one in particular, instead of me going through my inventory or my stash space and wasting you guys' time, let's go to the recalibration. I don't have all the talents, just remember that. I know people get annoyed, but chess piece I don't, because I don't use a lot of them, and most of the ones I found I just keep those pieces anyway. So if we have a look here, we're looking for spotter. So amplifies total weapon and skill damage by 15% to pulsed enemies. So if you use the linked laser pointer on your weapon, every time you aim at an NPC, you pulse them. You actually you will see them light up, and it's very, very strong, and you can have spotter activated at all times. So now that we know that, let's go through the next one. I don't think there's any more I wanted to speak about. There is one here. So we've got a underbarrel attachment. This is actually really interesting, because this is what I was talking about before. Do you remember when we were having a look at the fact that it's bugged? Look at this. This is activated, but my SMG damage is not activated. So don't touch this, because I could actually remove it and then I'll never be able to get it back. So if yours is like this, you're very lucky. This is an underbarrel attachment for short and long rail. So it's a small laser pointer. So this should fit here. This is it here. So that's 7% crit chance. So if you are struggling with crit chance and needed an extra 2%, you could put that on. So I think I've just shown you exactly what I mean. It's actually really good that it's like that. So that is actually a bug. So that is stuck on, and I don't know if you guys is like that, but like I said, don't change it. So let's have a look at the further ones. Survivalist, we have got this custom magazine for 5.56 assault style weapons. I think this is 20% optimal range, so it's not as good as the other ones. And then here, one of the strongest ones, which is a digital aiming device for long top rails. The G36 is a very good weapon. A lot of people say, why you use a G36? It has very good attachment capabilities on it as well. So if you have a look here, I can actually put a digital scope on here as well. Every single modification fits on this weapon. So that's something to take note of as well. That's another little tip there. Some of the weapons, you'll be like, oh, I can't put it on. Change your gun, try a different gun. So this gives us 45% headshot damage. So if you want to make a sniper build or a rifle build, you can just put this on. I think the highest is this one, 35%, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, so it's a big difference. That's 10% difference. And this one, obviously this is quite nice because it removes reload speed, but most sniper builds, for example, it would it would work. Yeah, the thing is most sniper builds, you're not really going to be going for crit damage or crit chance. You would just be straight up going for headshot damage, especially if it's like a headhunter build. So I think I've we've covered quite a few points. If you guys have any comments or any questions, please make sure to comment down below, and I will do my best to answer all of them. Hopefully some of the community will also give me a hand. I want to create some discussion over this. There's a few things I could speak about more, but I don't think it's necessary in this video. I could make a part 2. Maybe if this video gets a lot of likes, maybe over 1,000 likes, I know that's asking for a high amount, but I don't really want to just ramble on all day long, because I probably could. You guys know me, I speak too much. Sometimes when I make build videos, I've actually spoken for 20 minutes before getting into the build. It's happened to me before and I've had to start again. So just a quick little side note before we end the video: if you go to the summit and you change the targeted loot to modifications, you guys can do that. There's skill mods and gear mods, so make sure you go and do that. That's how I get all my good mods. So put on one directive, Fog of War, in the summit and farm gear mods. That's how you get really good gear mods. Also, you can come over here if you want. There are ways, if you've purchased the gear mod, to have a look, and you can make a protocol gear mod or a system gear mod. They cost printer filament. So how do you get printer filament? All you would do is deconstruct your mods you don't like, and it gives you printer filament. Electronics, you can also farm green gear sets and then dismantle them, and that gives you electronics, so you have enough materials. The other ones you just farm throughout the world. You got a resource convoys. That's a good way of doing it. The RNG is not very good for that, so farm legendary skill mods on summit, get your friends to help you, and you can get some pretty good modifications. So that being said, please make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and I'll be seeing everybody in the next video. Peace out, agents.